Hi everybody. I just have a thought. Let me get rid of my gum. Sorry. I have a thought that's been on my mind and my heart for a while now, and I just feel like I need to share it. So I'm going to share this, and mostly I'm talking to myself when I say this, but I just feel like, you know what, if anybody else could get something from this, then I'm going to share. So here's the thought. I don't know how many of you are familiar. I'm probably the only one that has this, but mom guilt, maybe dad guilt, parent guilt, grandma guilt, whatever. Parental guilt. I used to struggle so bad with it, and I felt like I got a handle on it for a good few years, and then it's back again. I think it's just I have more kids, more on my plate, more going on, and I just feel like it probably increases with every kid. Those of you that have 5 or more kids can probably say, oh, Christy, you don't even know what you're talking about, because I have way more kids than you. Anyway, here's the thought. So Brooke Hemingway is one of my really good friends, and we were talking about this a few weeks ago. I was just feeling overwhelmed with mom guilt, just feeling like, oh, laying in my bed thinking, oh, I was such a bad mom today, and like going through my mind thinking of all the things that I didn't do, or all the times I snapped at someone, or all the times that I didn't just sit down and get on their level and just explain things calmly, you know, just beating the crap out of myself basically. And then I just had this thought, and I've been praying for some insight and clarity on this, so I'm sure that's where the thought came from. But the thought was, how often do we just make our kids out to be victims? I mean, we all know, like, we can totally look at every situation one of two ways. We can look at the situation and say, oh, I'm the victim, look at this. Or we can look at the situation accountably and say, how did I create this? Or it's news. It's not personal. It's not bad news. It's news, right? So I just think, how often do we frame our kids as victims? How often do I frame my kids' lives and their days as victims? I think, oh, and then there was that one time when I snapped at Jax and da-da-da-da. Well, how about we turn it around and say, remember those like 50 bazillion times that I didn't snap at him? Or how about those 10 or 15 times when I consciously reached out to him and was trying to connect with him? Or how about that time that I gave him a hug when he came home and told him that he was awesome and he was sockety? Or how about that time when I went down and cleaned his room without him knowing, just try to surprise him? Or how about that time when I sat down and read a book to Lucy? Or how about that time when I got on the floor and played with Benji? Our kids are the lucky ones. We are so good to our kids for the most part. Our kids have it good. And I just think so often we just make our kids out to be victims, and we just frame it. And I'm saying we, probably me, and I'm the only one, but I frame their life like they're a victim. And instead of looking at it as, our kids are blessed, my kids are blessed. How many things did I do today to lift them and to serve them and to love them and to dedicate my life to taking care of them? You know, I just think, oh, there's so much good that we can do when we frame things that way, instead of framing it as, my kid's victimized. He didn't get, you know, that 50th treat at the store that he wanted. He got 49 treats, you know, and we can focus on that one thing that we feel, oh, I didn't do that for him. I'm just such a bad mom. So anyway, that's the thought, is at the end of the day, instead of laying down and looking for reasons to beat the crap out of ourselves, how about we lay down at night and say, gosh, how many things did I do today that I dedicated my life to being a good parent? How many things did I do that I didn't want to do that I did in the name of taking care of my kids or dedicating my life to my kids? And I just know that there's so much power in gratitude, and I know that that's where abundance lives and peace. And so I'm just striving to do that, to focus on the things I'm doing right, instead of focusing on how is my kid a victim of my idiocy or whatever. And they are that too. I mean, we have dance parties and my son's like, Mom, stop. You're making me sick. So yeah, there's that too, but that's the thought. You are all doing better than you think you are. We're all doing better than we think we are. And we deserve to give ourselves some credit for that and see the reality. So that's the thought. I love you all. I hope it served one of you. Have a beautiful night. Mwah. Good night.